Hello and welcome to the Gust of Wind podcast. Steuben here, going it alone. Technically not alone, but no Gazer Beam 2K this time around. He's currently at a win-a-box, and he's allegedly in a win-in right now. What kind of win-in? I'm not quite sure. I think he tied before he's in a win-in, so I don't know how I feel about that ultimately. But I'm not alone, so this is a little bit weird for me, but I would normally say, hey, Gazer, how's your week going? Oh, good. How was yours? So on and so forth. But this time, I'm joined by two awesome people. I have On Guard and Vulcan Turtle TCG of the newly founded Trainers Guild team/content team. Welcome in, guys. How's it going?
Going all right.
Things are great on my end.
Yeah, so basically, you guys have both never been on the pod before, so we get to kill two birds with one stone at this point in time. And I feel like a lot of people need to know who you are, so we'll start with On Guard. If you want to go ahead and let everybody know a little bit about yourself, your Pokemon history, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I have been playing the Pokemon trading card game since 2017. Started like traveling competitively beginning of like the what was it 2018 2019 or 2019 2020 season, whatever the season was that started right as COVID hit.
So,
So
yeah,
unfortunately,
1920, yeah.
yeah. So unfortunately, didn't get a lot of regionals in before that. I was able to go to like Daytona regionals a few times. The one regional that I was able to make it to before COVID hit was Knoxville, where I got top 128 there, but didn't make day two. No, it was top 256. That's my bad. Then, as we got back into this new season and whatnot, what were the other ones that I traveled to? I traveled to one before I went to NAIC, and I'm trying to remember.
Indy, yeah, Indy.
Indy.
We met at
Yeah,
Indy, yeah.
yeah, we did meet at Indy. I went to Indy. I got top 128. Was it top 128 or top 256 again? I think it might have been 256 again.
256, yeah, 256.
Yeah, yeah, 256 there. And then at NAIC, I made my first ever day two, which was top 128. Didn't do my best in day two, was a little mentally exhausted and definitely making some misplays, but we're going to try and fix that for this season and try to make a couple of top 64s, top 32s, etc., and see if we can qualify for Yokohama. That's the goal.
I think that's kind of like everybody's goal right now. The
Yeah, for sure.
coveted Worlds to Japan trip, basically.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Vulcan Turtle, tell the world about yourself.
There's really not much. I kind of just started getting into the competitive Pokemon TCG back in January of 2020. So when Sword and Shield came out, and like On Guard, that was around the point where COVID-19 pandemic hit. So I never really got to do anything on the more professional circuit through regionals and stuff like that. I went to my very first NAIC, and that's where I met On Guard and you. Placed 365 there, and that is my only accolade to the TCG. Other than that, I play the online client a lot. I'm in a lot of online tournaments, but this season I'm definitely really looking forward to traveling to a lot of different regionals, NAIC, and again that World's invite.
Yeah, I mean, nothing to scoff at though. You've won a few of the Tourney of Dooms from our friend Senor Doom though.
Yeah, I did do that. Thanks to Ice Rider Palkia.
Yeah, Doom's a good dude. He was on our season finale for the last season of the pod. I love his art and everything he's got going on. But I'm happy to have you both here. Technically, us and a few other people have been in secrecy play testing a little bit, theory crafting, and yeah, either one of you want to take it away on that and tell the world a little bit about that?
Before that, I think it's kind of funny that Vulcan has like won some online tournaments because I actually don't have a single win in online tournaments. Offline, yes, I do. However, online, my highest placing is a second place.
Yeah.
I mean, in real life, I've played in tons of tournaments at local scenes, and I've won a bunch of tournaments at local scenes, but never anything too big, anything crazy yet. So
Yeah, like I've gotten plenty of locals wins and a challenge win, but I have never won an online tournament, but that's mainly because I just play in like the larger ones. I don't think that I've joined like any of them that have been under like 40 at any point, but still, it's kind of funny that I have not won a singular online event yet.
Some people say they matter, some people say they don't. You could just say for the sake of it that they don't matter, and Vulcan can say they do, and then both validated.
They for sure matter.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, the Pokemon trading card game is the Pokemon trading card game, whether you play it IRL or online. Uh, Playing through it, using your own decision making to make the best plays you possibly can. All of that just comes with the territory of playing the game. Any
100%.
accomplishment is an accomplishment, regardless of if it's online or offline.
Yeah. Never discredit yourself, no matter what people think or what their opinions are, because it's your opinion that matters the most, anyways. In the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. Also, it looks like we have a Nick in the stream waiting room at the moment.
Oh, he's a little too late because the OBS setup is like.
Yeah.
Well, it's all Gazer's fault today. Because he's AFK basically. He's out there and somewhere in California trying to win a box. But
Hashtag William Gazer.
yeah, hopefully he does. He can bring home the bacon. But yeah, so the Trainers Guild technically started as a playtesting group of a bunch of content creators and streamers who wanted to do a little bit better this coming season. And there were a few of us that were like, hey, well, what if we add this person? What if we add this person? What do you think about them? What do you think about them? And eventually it just became into a large, not large, there's technically 7-ish people involved. One of them exists in there just because they have the tag for the hidden part of the Discord, but they're tapped out of the game at the moment anyways. So... but there's a handful of people in there, and then a few of you decided to pull the trigger and jump out as a full-fledged team, the two of you included in that.
Yeah.
Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the idea behind it is sort of in order to, first of all, improve as players and also be able to sort of share in our accomplishments. I wanted to sort of bring together a group of us if I could. Granted, it was not entirely my idea, obviously, but it was in effort to improve our play and also to be able to have a group to make content with, because part of what I've also wanted to do going forward is being able to like put out group content. I've wanted to be able to put out games against other people, meta analysis with other people, etc., etc. Just I felt it would be very good to be able to put out content with a group and also share in each other's successes as we grow and progress through the season.
Okay. So yeah, if you want to go over a little bit more about the members, Vulcan Turtle, would you like to take that over?
Yeah, sure. So right now we have just was it 4 members currently a part of the Trainers Guild. We've got myself and On Guard, and we've got Nick over at 9 Card TCG, and we've got Jordan over at Gym 9. And the 4 of us are content creators, but we're players at heart. And I think one of the big things about being a part of a content creator team or just a Pokemon team in general, we had joined the original group to get better at the game, focus, just come into this new season and blast it away. And with this content team, it became more, let's just not get better at the TCG. We're gonna get there eventually, but we could also become greater content creators for the community at large by working together and finding a way to not only just bring entertainment to the masses and people who are fans of individual channels all coming into one location, but also just being able to provide something that we may not normally do ourselves and bring that to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. So killing two birds with one stone, both being able to improve at the game and also bring some community content at the same time.
Yeah, so I mean, you both stream on Twitch. Do you want to take a moment to talk about your Twitch channels as well?
Yeah. Vulcan, do you want to start with that?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Vulcan Turtle TCG, and Twitch is kind of my little home hub there. Tried the whole YouTube thing, and it wasn't like for me, but that's where the Trainers Guild also comes in, because it's like I can get better at content creation. But Twitch is where I live, and I have a lot of fun over there. Goal at the end of the year is like 500 followers, but you know, we definitely have a ton of fun. We like to bring decks that are outside the normal and go in and have a lot of fun. We really only primarily play in tournaments to show a lot of players that anybody can play the Pokemon TCG regardless of what deck they have, regardless of if it's their first or their millionth tournament. My main goal is to play in a lot of tournaments to show a lot of new players that you do not have to be good at the TCG to have fun with the TCG. And you can ask my chat, they roast me all the time. I lose a lot, but as long as we have fun at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. And if you've been inspired to go and play in a tournament, either at your local scene or on Limitless TCG, you know, then my job is done. Cracking one smile, that's my whole point. That's my purpose in life, making people smile, and Pokemon helps me do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. As for myself, I also primarily live on Twitch. I absolutely love being able to just talk to people in general while I'm doing things. Again, the majority of my content is the Pokemon trading card game. I love playing rogue decks in big tournaments. I want to do a little bit more meta stuff just because I need to improve with that. I've been playing far too much rogue lately, but I am still going to keep rogue a massive part of the channel. On top of that, I also cast a series that is now starting its third season this upcoming Wednesday. The Guard Gauntlet, which season 3 of this is going back to bi-weekly because I have a lot of schoolwork to do with digital media and whatnot, so I can't exactly afford to keep it up with weekly. But I have been very much enjoying casting those. It's so much fun to be able to cast and provide a tournament to the community. So that's also a lot of fun. I also do periodic other streams, mainly related to Pokemon, but I also want to branch out into some other games as well, multiverses. I also really want to start playing Cult of the Lamb, which Dubin actually has sort of inspired me to do.
It's such a fun game.
That game is so
the
fun.
interactions that you get when you have like the Twitch people like come in and join the cult, where it's like, oh, I want them to eat poop, and then like it gets so wild. So two of my regular viewers / moderators, Cordy and X Tangram, Cordy kept wanting to make X Tangram eat poop in the game. And it was just funny that it was like the two of them like interacting, and like he's like, all right, the first time was a prank, let's see if we can make him do it again. And then after the second time, it's like, all right, I want to kill X Tangram. And I'm like, whoa, Cordy, calm down, no, dude. And like it's so funny because it's, you know, those are two viewers' names in the game that are having this like own weird interaction. It's super fun.
Essentially, you start off the game where you have like a little like cult area, but you have to build it up like it's an Animal Crossing island.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a roguelike, like Binding of Isaac, which gives it this really fun, but also like cultic dynamic, which I love. Also, in my own community, we have this little summonable cat familiar named Merlin, who's like a little magic cat kind of thing. So we were gonna make this cult for Cult of the Lamb called Cult of Merlin when we actually name it.
Okay.
But that's gonna be a lot of fun. On top of that, I also recently did a very large Aura stream where I have to beat the entire game with a singular team of 6. Anytime I catch a Pokemon, it's locked on my team. And if I ever lose a battle, I have to restart the entire game. Which I did complete that challenge after having to restart the game twice.
Yeah, challenges like that are soul draining at the same time too.
Oh, for sure. My throat was shot for like 2 days after that.
Yeah, you did a lot of hours in that time.
Oh yeah.
All right.
It was literally 24 hours. We took like a slight break when I got a noise complaint at 3 a.m, and then woke back up and watched the trailer for Scarlet and Violet at 9 o'clock on stream, and then went back to it. But it was fun. It was for sure fun.
Okay, jump cut. We've been joined by yet another member of the Trainers Guild, someone who's been on the pod before, so they really need too much of an introduction. But now we are joined by Nick from 9card TCG. What's up, dude?
I would like a full-length introduction still.
I mean, you can, if you feel free to introduce yourself to people who don't know who you are. But go back and check out his solo episode with us last season if you want more information and to hear him and Gazer bicker about TCG Live.
Yes, that is a thing that we did, and he actually came on my channel to do a webcam battle and continued to be wrong on my channel. So
I'm now curious as to what the stances that each of you had was.
Very briefly, he thought it was a good idea for the crafting cost to be higher, but only for certain cards. Like Mew VMAX should not be the same as Scizor or Scizor VMAX, even though they're both VMAXs.
No, yes. I think it should just be based on the rarity that it is.
Agreed.
Right.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why the market in PTCGO isn't something that we want to keep.
So if you want to hear me eviscerate his points and his stance on it, it's available for you to do so.
Don't worry. I think we, for the most part, agree that you are correct on this.
Yeah, you don't even need to hear his side.
When does anybody ever want to hear Gazer's side anyway? That's why we're doing this episode without him.
Yeah, that works. That works.
But yeah, so you are another member of the Trainers Guild. How do you feel about that? You want to talk about that a little bit? I got their opinions. We talked to them about that. What's your side of the story?
I don't have much of a side. I think it's really important to have a consistent group of individuals that, even if you aren't necessarily playing with all the time, that are just throwing ideas out there and kind of helping you keep track of what's doing well, what's popular, what decks are adding what cards, discussing meta for upcoming events, all that kind of stuff. It just helps you make it less likely that you're going to miss something kind of important. So having that group, I think, is pretty significant.
Yeah, I mentioned that it started as a playtesting group, and then technically I'm a shadow member at this point. So I'm not in the content team, but I'm behind the scenes with playtesting and a few other little bits and pieces and whatnot. So cat's out of the bag. When I talked about people I've been playtesting with, it's these goofballs. But I love them all very much. So it's a good time.
Also, good luck, Gazer. Do we think Giratina will flop?
All the Q&A is at the end of the stream.
Oh, gotcha.
So, yeah, ignore Gazer. He doesn't exist at this current moment in time. This is the Gust of Stube now. No, I'm kidding. I mean, it could be. Let me know in the Apple and Spotify 5-star reviews and all that kind of stuff. If you guys want Gazer out of here forever, and we bring in rotating guests.
Gazer has to win his tournament to come back.
Yeah, Gazer has to win that box, and then he has to mail it to my PO box. I demand tribute.
He at least has to win this round and make top 8. That's the requirement.
Yeah,
game, win or lose, Gazer.
Yeah, he's got to win. He's got to win, or he's off the pod forever.
Earn your keep.
Yeah. But just so we're all going to Baltimore this coming week, and we're all rooming together too. So that'll be a fun experience. But yeah, we can talk about hypothetical meta calls. I don't necessarily think we should let the cat out of the bag about what any of us want to play or any playlists or anything specific like that. But what do we think we're going to see heading into the very last Go/Astral Radiance format tournament?
Oh, I think that's easy. You're gonna see Palkio.
You're
gonna.
It's basically Worlds 2.0.
Oh yeah,
not even. It's like Worlds 1.1.
Same. Worlds 1.1.
Yeah, how many? I feel like a lot of people that'll this could be their first event, and they might just gravitate to Arc Flying Pika because it took the top 3 seeds. Easy point to gravitate to. we haven't seen much development outside of that with online tournaments for the metagame whatsoever. I mean, everybody now is starting to play Lost Origin, so it's a little bit of a weird place between,
Yeah.
new set hype and online stuff, playing with new cards, and us stuck in the shadow ages of, Astral Radiance and Go.
Yeah, it's literally that weird middle zone where it's a week after a new set came out, but still many people are practicing for the old format because of the tournament that happens a week after the release of a new set.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
definitely dropped the ball on the schedule for this event specifically
Yeah.
with the release window. This would
Yeah,
have
I
been a
agree.
lot
Should have
more
been the week
hype.
after.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of Japanese players have to go through that for Worlds, though, and international tournaments because they're months ahead of us. So they're always practicing new formats and going back to old formats. So, you know what?
Yeah.
Take that, Americans. Go back to your
Yeah.
old formats.
We'll take a taste of that, sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's been that way for a long time, so I guess technically we deserve it at this point.
It's a valid point, but I don't think we could say, well, other people have to do it, therefore, we should always have to do it. Like Pokemon should
Yeah.
just be better about it. It's looking like they might be trying to get better with it by making rotation early 2023, which is when Japan rotates. So are they trying to put us on a rotation schedule to avoid that problem in the future? We'll have to wait and see, but it seems like there may be some steps in the right direction.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
hope so.
it would be cool if they're trying to sync up the releases somewhat, where like they'll obviously in Japan they'll still get their monthly releases for sets, but they might sync up every 3 months. So we
Right.
might have like a month of all playing in the same format as Japan, which would be nice to see at least.
I mean, if you think
On
about it
top
this way too, going into Silver Tempest, that our pre-releases are in November, not December.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get that set at the beginning of December, and that's, I mean, sure, it's technically 3 months, but it doesn't feel like it normally does.
Yeah, because we got this one so late, so it feels like it's like 2 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
Yeah.
a month short for that format window for Lost Origin, which is either good or bad. I mean, there's a lot of awesome stuff in Lost Origin. We'll get to that in a little bit, but yeah, leading into Baltimore, we've all done some theory crafting and testing and whatnot. What
Yeah,
do
we
you, what,
have.
what do you what do you think the you really think Palkia is gonna have like mega dominance even with the arc flying Pikachu going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's answer that with another question. Why does Arc Flying Pika have a place in the meta?
Well,
Because
duh.
Palkia does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
it's not even just Palkia. It also, like, Pika beats Reggie's Solrock Lunatone. It beats Radiant Zard pretty consistently. There's obviously ways around it, like cross switcher and then boss up the Pika to hit it for 250, plus the damage from like Inteleon. But for the most part, it has a really good spot in the meta for being able to lock out certain archetypes, hit one of the most powerful archetypes in the format for weakness, and have consistent acceleration and disruption. It's such a good deck overall, and having the Hisui and Decidueye also means that it can beat out some of these other like anti-meta archetypes like Blissey Miltank.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's
got
not
really
a-
good rogue variants basically there to be able to handle anything like that.
But when you talk about a new deck, and we can talk more about this later in Lost Origin, maybe that will reinforce my point a little bit more. When you talk about a deck's success or viability in the format, what deck are you asking yourself? Can it beat this deck? And the answer is usually Palkia and then sometimes Mew. I think in the Astral Radiance Pokemon Go format, Mew is still very much part of the equation, but you're asking yourself, can this beat Palkia? Can this beat Mew? Those are the two really big decks that you are trying to make sure you don't at least take a hard loss to.
I partially agree with that. However, I think that in this format, Mew is somewhat of an afterthought, and Arceus, Pika, and Palkia are the two things that people are mainly considering. That being said, I think the Mew variant that popped up at Worlds, the one without the Meloettas, has so much potential in this format right now. I do think that it sort of hard loses to Drapion in the next format because you can't really afford to run Lost City in the Meloetalus build because it needs the Pokegears so much. I mean, not Pokegears, Pokestops. But I think it is very good in this format. I honestly
Yeah.
think Meloetalus Mew might be one of the best decks going into Baltimore.
Yeah,
I do
it
sadly agree.
consistently hitting 220 plus after turn 2 through the rest of the game honestly feels so good to be behind that driver's seat in that deck.
Yeah.
Even with Lost Origin and Drapion, since we brought it up, I was playing a deck yesterday on stream, and I should have been able to beat Mew, but both my Drapion and Heavy Ball were prized, and there was like a less than 1% chance of that happening, and they both
Yikes.
Oh,
it
no.
did happen. I looked at the math. I looked at the percentages of prizing cards, and it was about 1-ish% or something, and it happened to be the 1% of the one matchup you
Oh,
don't want it
man.
to happen. And you
Yeah.
steamrolled me. That I couldn't do a thing.
Yeah, that's
So
wild.
That's rough. That's just rough.
I
I
was
think
not happy.
yeah, I think in that particular situation, the way that you have to go about it, was it a Meloetalus Mew variant or did it play Meloetta?
I don't recall seeing Meloetta.
Okay.
Did they play Fusion
So-
Strike Energy?
Yes.
Okay, so then
Okay,
I don't know. Yeah, that could
If they played Fusion Strike Energy, it's a Meloetta variant.
probably.
Regardless,
Yeah.
I think the route that you have to go for in that matchup is to try and rapid flow a Genesect and a One Prizer, well, whether it be Oricorio or Meloetta.
There wasn't
Ping
one in
damage-
play.
Yeah, like that makes it a lot harder. But generally, that like route would be hit Genesect and Meloetta, ping down the Genesect remaining to take a total of 3 prizes later, or 1 prize and then 2 prizes on another turn, and then Drapion at the very end to take a Mew KO. Because a lot of Mew variants in this format, the Lost Origin format, are playing 2 Lost City now to hit a specific threat and Lost Zone it permanently.
Yeah.
So saving the Drapion for the late game and using like Urshi in the early games, in like the early part of the game, is actually like a viable strat against Mew, I feel, in this format.
Well, I didn't get a chance to do that. So
Yeah.
Them's the breaks.
I wasn't necessarily trying to say that that was a situation you could have done. I
No, I
tried to
know.
talk on the deck in this format. Because I honestly think that Urshi is in such a good spot for Lost Origin format.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
So, anyways, more on the topic of Baltimore.
Yes, yeah.
For people
yeah.
who have never been to a regional, since it's the first of the season, it could be their first regional. What pieces of advice do the three of you have to new players or people going to their first big event? Vulcan Turtle, we'll start with you.
Well, I've excuse me. I've actually never been to a regional.
Well, you've been to NAIC.
I've been to
though.
NAIC.
Yeah,
That's much bigger. And I guess
Well,
what I
excuse
do
me.
have to say, I guess what I have to say to like new players is because I was just recently that was my first event. That was all recent. Don't stress. I can give you gameplay advice all day. Nick can give you gameplays on guard, stupid. Anybody here can give you gameplay advice all day, but that's not going to prepare you for like those butterflies in the stomach. You know what I mean? That your mental space is like one of the most important things when you're playing a game, especially on a competitive level. And just take some breaths, drink some water, go in there, make some friends. Most of the community is extremely nice. Just go have fun. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you go 0-9 or 9-0. Just go have fun and breathe. That's
I'd be having more fun being 9-0 than 0-9.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, you just gotta like break it down. Sometimes your matchups, you can't control your matchups. You can't control, your top decks. There's a lot of luck that also goes involved with the Pokemon TCG. And if you can just if you could separate the difference between good player and luck, they don't equate to each other. Sometimes your luck, like Nick had just said, he'd prize both Drapions and 2 heavy balls. That means nothing to him as a player. That is just everything is luck. You know what I mean? Sometimes that happens, and it doesn't mean anything bad about you. So if you're going in there thinking that you have to win, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to hit this, you have to hit that, sure, if you want to win and go all the way to the top like most people do. But if you can breathe, take a second and go, you know what, it just wasn't my game, off to the next, and have some fun, then you're already, in my opinion, winning.
Solid. All right. On guard, go for it.
Yeah, from here, I would say I definitely agree with the mental space thing. If you lose a game, don't let it bog you down too much. Some of the like hardest things about the game is trying to get back up from a particularly hard loss. Because sometimes if you let it affect you, it'll end up affecting your future games. You'll make misplays, you'll sort of spiral off. That's one of like the hardest things about playing this game competitively. But if you're getting into this game and this is your first event, go in, just try to have fun, play the deck as best as you possibly can. And if it doesn't go over too well, that's fine. There are side events, and overall, regionals are like massive Pokemon conventions. There's always something fun to do. There's always so many people to meet and talk to and hang out with just everything Pokemon. Just enjoy yourself there. It's always a blast. The number one piece of advice that I would actually give to players wanting to get into regionals and play is even if you're not shooting for an extremely high spot or trying to win the entire event, practice playing at a decent speed to finish a best of 3 in 50 minutes. That's one of the hardest things for newer players, is being able to actually finish their games at a reasonable time, because they won't necessarily know how slow they're playing in certain situations. And it can cause them to just not finish a game that either they should have won or just didn't have enough time to finish all 3 games, and it ends in a tie or a loss because you lost the first game and didn't finish the second game, or won a game, lost a game, and weren't able to finish the third game. Learning how to play uh, within a time limit is super important, and also knowing when to concede. That's extremely important. Is if you are in a situation where you're in a game that looks almost impossible to come back from and almost impossible to lose, save yourself the time, move to the next game, and just try to play as well as you can in the game in game 2.
Yeah, that's at Indy. One of the issues that I came across is a lot of players just didn't know when to concede, and I had 3 ties, and like
Yeah.
they wanted to play out every single game all the way to the end, even though they were out of resources and didn't know what to do, and that's fine. You'll have to learn that eventually, but the sooner you learn it, the better you can definitely become as a player, because time management is super important. A lot of places when they run events, they run like best of 130 minutes, and like everybody has a cake time playing their games, but not everyone gets the opportunity to play best of 350.
Yeah.
All right, 9 card, what would you like to add?
Obviously, everything that both Vulcan and Ongard have said are true, and I agree with. Get some sleep, make sure you hydrate, eat something. You don't want to be playing, round 5 and you haven't eaten or drank any water, and now you're super dehydrated, you have a headache. That sucks. Nobody wants to feel like that. But also, don't be afraid to call a judge. If you feel like you need a judge, or you're not sure of something, or you think your opponent might be wrong, or whatever the interaction is, don't be afraid to call a judge. No one's going to dislike you for it. No one's going to be mad at you for it. And if your opponent does get mad at you for calling a judge, you probably need a judge. So
Yeah.
that's
If they're getting mad at you for calling a judge, they are most likely in the wrong.
Yeah, they're either
Yes.
gonna try and roll shark you, or just like they're salty.
So don't be, please. They are there. The judges are there to help, however large or minor the whatever's going on might seem, at least to you. If you're a newer player, you don't know if the interaction, like you thought this card worked one way, it's working a different way. You don't have to take your opponent's word for it. If you think you're right, you can get a judge and they will make a ruling. And if you're wrong, okay, fine, you were wrong. At least you know for sure that your opponent was right. And it's so much better than being like, oh man, I'm pretty sure I was right and I lost that game because my opponent did something that they weren't supposed to. Like, don't let that happen to you. That I did that. I made that mistake. Not necessarily with a judge. I let my opponent, and this is something else. You
Convince
don't
you
have to.
that, yeah.
not even, they didn't convince me anything was wrong. They made a mistake, and they were like, "Can I take that back?" And I said yes.
You caught yourself
yes.
slipping. Shame.
Yeah,
I did.
Mhm.
I did.
Yeah.
You're too nice.
I've had
I know.
the same kind of problem at my early regionals as well. Is legitimately someone would make a mistake, ask if they could take it back, and me not wanting to be like mean or anything, just let them take it back. It's a regional. It is one of the higher
Yeah.
level events that you can go to.
When you're paying $70,
Yeah.
take no
For
prisoners.
sure.
Don't feel like you have to agree to what your opponent wants. If they ask the
Yeah.
ID, you don't have to. If they ask, "Oh, can I take that back?" You don't have to let them. I did, and I regret it. Not because I for whatever reason, I would have won that game otherwise. And if I did not let them take that move back, I would have won that set. And who knows, I was 3-1 at that time, and then I went down to 3-2 or whatever I was, 3-1-1. You don't know how the day will change it, So don't
sure.
shortchange yourself.
Yeah. If I have anything to add to all of that, which it's all good, go in with a positive mindset, get some sleep. Don't let your opponents screw you over. If you don't like what the judge tells you, appeal. Appeal the ruling to the lead or the head judge, whoever's technically going to take that, depending on like the situation and the time frame. But never be afraid to tell your judge that you want to appeal. There's a lot of inexperienced judges, and it's not necessarily their fault. This could be their first event. They could be a walk-on volunteer. Appeal. Appeal. And even if you're wrong, worst case scenario, you get a time extension.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. It does sort of depend, because like most of the time the judges will be right about situations, especially at an international. At an international, all of them out there are stage 2 judges and are experienced at judging these events.
Yes.
At regionals, it'll always be stage 1 or higher, but the stage 1 judges can make mistakes. There are some judges that will give an incorrect ruling. So if you feel confidently that their ruling is incorrect, feel free to appeal.
Yeah.
Don't argue, but ask to appeal.
Correct.
Yes.
It's your first regional and you need to call a judge. Just one little tip on that. Be loud.
Yeah.
The venue's loud.
Raise your hands and scream.
Raise your hands. So
Yeah.
If you gotta go, just to get their attention.
Judge!
So, yeah.
I need an adult! Yeah, call for an adult. We all need adults sometimes.
I don't even believe I am one.
That's half the reason I got married, is so I have an adult with me at all times.
Yeah.
There you go.
I need a judge. My opponent palmed a boss's orders.
Oh, please.
Okay. We don't want to get into the topic of players that should be banned that aren't banned.
Anyone that's been around the community knows this, at least.
Yeah, at that point in time. All right. Any final Baltimore thoughts from anybody?
I'm looking forward to it.
My thought is Ice Rider is very good in this format.
Yeah. That's my
thought. Yes.
That's my thought.
That's also very good in this format.
You can't spell fun without un.
That's right, baby. You
can't spell fun without un.
There you go. There's your first piece of merch. You guys can sell.
Oh yeah, Vulcan, you get that merch. That's yours.
100%.
Oh, there you go.
I could definitely see Vulcan wearing a sweater that just goes just like absolutely.
All right, y'all convinced me. I'm going to Lids after this and getting the un line created immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't spell fun without un.
Oh my god. Or you could use like the Funyuns text. They just take the un from the word Funyuns in their font and just go.
You gotta, don't you have
one of the
you need the dots over it though.
Oh yeah. Put the umlauts there. It's fine. Whatever.
Umlauts. That's what it was. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you could design some of the letters to like resemble each of the Reggies. Like just like text on the shirt, but all of the letters like look like
Different
Reggie's.
color.
And this is why you have people to
Just like
play
a
test.
design.
One dumb thing I said turned into all these different pieces of
A merch
ideas,
line.
and it gets better and
Yeah.
better as everyone adds to
Every
it. So this is
time.
another
for
reason
sure.
why to have a playtesting group, because then like we start talking about cards, and the same thing happens with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, me next. What's my merch? No.
I
don't-
have a
You
I
want
have a
Urshifu.
Brad merch line.
You need like
What?
you need like Winnie the Pooh dresses Urshifu. Like double copyright infringement.
Well, no, you can do
Winnie
the Pooh.
is.
Oh yeah, he's public domain now. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
But
Actually,
I think
forgot about that.
the one without the red shirt, I believe. The red shirt, I think, is owned by Disney, which I think, which might not be public domain.
like so, like the AA Milne, like the original Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, you can have the yellow bear.
Well, then get a yellow bear that looks like Pooh, and then put like the Urshifu clothes and bandana on it, and
Urshifu.
put him in the stance. Urshifu.
No,
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
I think it would sell.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know if I want my name on something that has the word poo in it.
You don't have to put your name on it.
It's spelled with the H.
Yeah, it's not poop.
The H takes care of that.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
You're all the worst.
No, Gazer's the worst. Just take it out on him. It's fine.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hashtag blame Gazer.
I bet we could actually make that a thing if we really try.
We could just tweet that.
And see how many people
Right
like
under the
get
queen.
involved. And Gazer Beam 2K killed the queen. Oh my god.
Gazer Beam stole my firstborn child. Hashtag blame Gazer.
Yeah.
I just tweeted hashtag blame Gazer. No other context.
Yeah, I'm
did
also
you?
gonna-
Oh my!
Hold
Did
on.
you? Oh my god!
I literally just
I'm doing
zero
the same.
information. Just hashtag blame Gazer Beam.
Oh, let's
That's it.
go.
That's
Let's
all I
go.
said.
Sure. I've done the exact same. I've tweeted blame Gazer.
Oh my god!
Done.
He's gonna be like, "What is going on?"
I'm getting canceled. I'm just at a
I hope he better win this box at this point in time.
If he wins the box, I'll delete the tweet.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, then that tweet,
sure,
that tweet,
sure.
that tweet, that
That's
tweet's
fair.
there. That tweet's there for the rest of your life. It's fine.
Like 5 years down in the future. What does this mean? Oh,
What does
God.
this mean?
He'll get 75 average viewers on Twitch, and he'll finally go for the partner application, and they'll look through his social media account. What's this blame Gazer hashtag? We can't give you partnership for this.
It's just everybody posting pictures of babies crying, and it says hashtag blame Gazer. Can we talk about Lost Origin? I'm super excited.
Yes.
for it.
All right. Let's
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about Lost Origin.
As much as I like to blame
ramble.
Gazer
Yeah.
for things, I do really. I just gotta talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, lead the way then. How about it?
For sure.
I don't care what anybody says. Comfy is good. Is it best deck in format? No, but it's good. And Gudra, I'm with the goo. Someone said they can't wait for the first regionals that Lost Origin is, I guess, legal, because they said they're going to be bringing the slime time, and I want that to be how we refer to Gudra from now on. Slime time.
The slime
Oh
time.
my god.
Yeah, it's slime time.
I hate that this Mon has no weakness and a perpetual 500 HP.
I know, it's
I
amazing.
hate it. I hate tank tech. I'm not a tank person.
Pokemon's just sitting there around their round table like, dang, should we have printed fairy types again?
They should have.
No, this is so much better. I love this.
No, I don't think we should ever get fairies back. Unfortunately,
Wow.
I want them back, but that's not on me.
they would have announced that with like
Yeah.
how big of it that would have been
Oh yeah, for
with
sure.
the Scarlet
not
Violet
coming
stuff.
back.
Yeah.
It's not coming back for a long while. Maybe like years in the future, but not right now.
Yeah, if they completely can rebalance everything and we get back to like a better pace for the flow of the game, then I could definitely see it being a little bit better. There's like a point
But-
for them to return.
Forget
Yeah,
about the fairy type for now. It's not here, so
Yeah,
let's not
yeah.
focus on it.
I just don't
Just-
like the dragons don't have a weakness right now. That's my
I
main
I'm
qualm.
loving it. Now, listen, can you go against Giratina and they just star Requiem? Can you go against the Kyurem and they just they rack up enough damage with all those water energies that
They
they just
just
blow up
put
your
paid
Giratina and
energy
the
on
Gudra
there.
anyway. Yeah, whatever. Can it happen? Sure. But, okay, Giratina uses their 1-star Requiem that they get per game to go through 1 Gudra. They still have 4 prizes to take.
Yeah.
I had a game.
Gudra,
Go ahead.
Gudra is broken, no cap. That's
Yeah.
I
It's so
agree.
good.
I agree that Gudra is absurdly good.
And you can build it so many different ways. Omnipoke, I love Omnipoke's build of Gudra. It's like turbo aggression. It's like aggro Gudra. And then you have, who was it? I think it was Luke, Celio's network,
Celio,
who is doing like a real tank Gudra Arceus build. Like there's so many ways we can do
like
it.
Arctura, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Arctura, but with Gudra, because it has the ability that heals itself if you don't need to use your Starbirth. And you also have the Radiant Gardevoir on that list as well.
Yeah, Crystal Caves, you got Hyper Potions, you could just attach a DTE, Hyper Potion 120 damage away, and now you're taking 100 less damage each turn because of Rolling Iron and Radiant Gardevoir. Come on.
Yeah.
That's
There's so many different builds out there that it's crazy. Like I saw one that Azul had built where it was like a 2/2 line of Gudra comfies, and that's about it. You scoop up all your comfies, get everything going. You get 10 in the disc in the Lost Zone super quick, and then you just Fantina, Palpad, Fantina, just over and over.
Yeah, I legitimately think that the Lost engine with like minimal support, just the Comfies, the Gudras, and the one of Radiant Greninja. The Radiant Greninja is too good to not play in the Lost Zone engine. That's my opinion on it.
Mhm.
But I think that's the best variant of Gudra, where you can get Gudras onto the field, only one prize supporters that you can remove from the field with nets, and then once you get 1 to 2 Gudra set up, you just kind of win from there.
Yeah. Omnipoke convinced me through his video that Greninja is the best option for Gudra in a solo Gudra Comfy build. But if you're going Arceus, I think you can go Gardevoir because you have the Inteleon engine to just back you up and cherry pick support trainers that you need. You don't necessarily need to draw with Greninja. So
wait, I didn't think they were playing the Inteleon engine. I thought it was literally just like a Dura build, like Arc Gudra with a Radiant Gardevoir and no other.
The one Celio's network did was that. It was Arceus, Gudra, Radiant Gardevoir, and those are the only Pokemon.
Yeah. Which I think is the right way to play it if you're playing that variant of it, and you can afford to play the Gardevoir in that case. I don't necessarily think that Inteleon is the right way to play Gudra, but that's just me.
I don't either. I think having minimal Pokemon on the bench is best for Gudra because the matchup it struggles the most with is things like Palkia that's super fast, and if you can have just a single Gudra in play or two Gudras in play, what are they doing to you once you get going?
I think Gudra auto wins Palkia. I think Gudra is going to be that thing that makes Palkia not necessarily the go-to pick for anyone who wants a safe pick for a regionals.
I'm super pumped. I'm buying into Gudra. I'm not gonna lie, I already bought the cards. It cost me $25 because Gudra's super cheap. It's like 80 cents for a V. It's like I think it's like $5 or $6 with shipping for a V star. It's like, why would I not?
Yeah, they're not very expensive.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I'm all in on that.
Last night on my stream after I cracked packs, I built Tina, and it was the list I had on the YouTube channel with the Leafeon in it. Primetime Wizard rated in, and he did a viewer battle with me, and he played Gudra and I played the Tina deck, and I caught him completely off guard with the Leafeon and just brought up his first fully built Gudra and just one hit KO'd it with Giratina, and just he never was able to recover. So like if you're faster than Gudra, you're gonna have a field day with it. But if they can get that first attack off and just start tanking every single turn, you're gonna have a bad time. It could go either way in that matchup for sure.
Yeah, if Gudra goes first or their opponent misses just something, Gudra can very easily start to snowball out of control for you. And you're like, there just comes a point where it's like, I'm doing literally 0 damage. I was playing Gudra on the ladder, streaming a couple of days ago, and someone attacked me and they did literally 20 damage, and I just healed it with Crystal Cave, and then I had 0 health, and it's like I'm still doing 200 every turn.
Yeah.
It can snowball on you so hard.
Any other decks that you guys are instantly gravitating to out of the Lost Origin?
I am a huge fan of, first of all, Lost Zone one prizer decks. I've been having a lot of fun playing Lost Reshi with
Yes.
the Amazing Ram.
Yeah.
That's my like rogue pick. I love Urshi in this format. Urshi is so good. I honestly think it's back to tier 1. I think I think that Arceus Giratina is going to completely replace Arc Pika, because Arceus Giratina is so good, and the Giratina already has a shred attack, so it's already beating Miltank. It has a big attack that's KOing basically anything with Belt. You can play it with Paths. You can play a one-of Lost City for helping against the one prizer decks. I think it has so many options, and it's just so powerful. I think that's one of the things I'm prioritizing. And I honestly really like Zoroark this format as well. That being said, I think it does have some particularly bad matchups, but I also think it has a lot of good matchups in the format as well. I think it does really well against those like tanky archetypes, like for example Gudra, but has some unfavorable matchups against decks like Palkia or decks like Urshi.
Yeah, Palkia is winnable with Zoroark. You just have to be faster. You have to win the coin
Yeah.
flip. You have to go first. You have to set up faster, and then you can one hit
They do have
KO.
Thornton. They do have Thornton, so Palkia I think still has a little bit,
Yeah.
bit of an edge
Yep.
in going second.
Yeah, you
But
could always just Thornton out, whatever.
I think Zoroark beats Giratina, just dedicated Arceus decks, Gudra, any of the like tanky decks that are around. I think it beats practically all of those. It struggles
if you
against,
get it going.
I have not had like any situations where it hasn't gotten going. That deck is absurdly consistent.
I've played against it multiple times, and each one of the games was very, very close. I think they were just shy of something, but it was extremely close. And then a few other games where they just failed to do anything.
I'm kind of surprised. I wonder how they've been building the deck, because the deck, in my opinion, in my testing at least, has been mega consistent. It has like set up the entire board like every game.
Being able to like boss and then like Phantom Star to discard your hand and draw 7 in the same turn
Oh yeah,
is absolutely insane.
or draw 7 and then hit the boss.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the wild part.
To be able to like technically play a research on top of whatever other supporter you have.
Yeah.
Theoretically, you could like research and Phantom Star and go through 14 cards looking for whatever piece you need.
Oh yeah,
That's insane as well.
plus buy barrels. Those also exist.
Yeah. I'm not super convinced on Zoroark, but the Giratina, I do really like, and I am honest to God unsure which one I like better, the Lost Zone or the Arceus version, simply because the Lost Zone one, I've done this. I was playing against a Darkrai like a Turbo Dark deck, and they had a Crobat VMAX, and they thought that they'd be able to just kind of hit and run Stealth Poison constantly, and I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. And I just bossed it up and used Star Requiem and just insta KO'd it.
Yeah,
and that's it. Game's over. And you might not be able to. I mean, you're definitely not going to be able to do that with the Arceus version because you're not using Star Requiem. So it might have been a little bit more of a challenge with the Arceus version. I still think the Arceus one would have won, but
yeah, I mean, like you still can swing for 310 with just Belt.
yeah.
But on top of that, I also think that just being able to set up more consistently without needing to Lost Zone like a fourth of your deck in order to, I mean, not like exactly a fourth. It's more like a fifth of your deck. Yeah, in order to just get a KO at the end, I feel like it's better to just dedicate more space to just consistency rather than trying to Lost Zone so many pieces, burn through so many resources just to get to that point. But also, one thing that I've found in like the Arceus Giratina testing is that if you're up against something that you need to Star Requiem, you can just sort of sit there and use the first attack on Giratina for like multiple turns to get there. Although that's like easier said than done. Most of the time you just want to set up fast and then blow up things, but there's certain situations where you have to Star Requiem, and that can be done by just using that attack.
Yeah. I think if you're using Lost Impact 5 times to get 10 cards
Yeah.
into the Lost Zone, you
You're in
are
trouble.
probably either you're losing the game, like
Yeah.
Logan said, you're in trouble, or you've already won like 2 turns ago.
If you pizza when you're supposed to French fry, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
actually,
trying to remember. I'm trying to remember which specific matchup this was in, because I think it was
Guja.
something. No, I think it was something. I think it was something that was like not being offensive. It was like a control deck, like Mewtwo control. I think.
Probably.
I think it was like a situation like that where you just put down a Giratina and nothing else. You get it set up. You go through the mill tanks by just swinging for 160, and then after they've gotten the Mewtwo onto the field, all you really have to do is just keep lost zoning things.
Can you Star Requiem the Mewtwo because the ability prevents effects? So I don't know if you can.
Oh wait, hang on.
I'd have to read it for sure, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Because I tried to.
I might be wrong. I might just be incorrect here.
I tried to persist sting a Mewtwo V Union. I thought I just had it, and I wasn't able to because it had its ability.
Yeah, you're right. That actually doesn't work. It was just something that popped into my head, but I guess that's not even possible in the first place. Wait, no, I play Path.
Right, if you passed it, that's different.
Yeah.
But
I play Path in that deck, so you could just hold Path until you get to that point. But
Yeah,
it's still difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I actually brought Giratina to the Tournament of Doom the other day, just to play around with that, and it was just a Lost Zone built version. It wasn't anything too crazy. Just like 4 Comfy, a 3/3 line of Tina, 1 Crobat, a Sableye, Cramorant, and a Luminion, and the deck can be insane. I do have to say, you will have some issues against what OnGuard had said. Certain one prizer decks, like the single prize Lost Zone box and stuff, you can have those issues because if you go into your V stars, I think the one thing that a lot of people don't talk about when it comes to Giratina, going into your V stars and getting to the point where you can start accelerating that energy and start attacking and all that, you are throwing a lot of resources away, including into the Lost Zone, and each energy counts because with each attack and each energy gone, you are limiting the amount of times that you can attack with Giratina. And that caught up to me in that tournament. I went 3-3.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I will say though, in Lost Zone engine defense, you could make some crazy cool Mirage Gate plays, and I'm here for that. That's the thing that I'm like.
Yep.
But is it worth like sacrificing so much consistency just so you can make like a cool flashy play that you and your opponent will see and pretty much no one else unless you're a content creator and happen to be recording?
And I will say that I absolutely adore the Lost Zone engine because unlike what Arceus does, where Arceus sort of revived a lot of different rogue Vs that had awkward attack costs that were hard to set up. However, I really love the Lost Zone engine because it does that for single prize Pokemon. You can bring back amazing rares, and it's great. Mm-hmm. You could play it with amazing rare Raikou. I've seen Goodra builds playing a singular Kyogre amazing rare and like 2 lightning energy. And that's such an insane like card choice as well that I think is amazing. I think that there is so much potential with the Lost Zone engine, and since we're just 2 days into the format, I think that there is going to be so much that people are going to be able to do with this particular archetype, and I love it.
I can only imagine like how like LAIC is going to go with all the great minds of the game going and like access to this set. Like that tournament doesn't have an exact date yet, but it's allegedly in November. So I mean, we're going to be full deep into the Lost Origin format, and then like, could you imagine like what someone like Sandra can do with the Lost Engine?
Yeah.
and all those control decks, and who knows?
Oh,
Who knows? Like what
He's
they're
for sure gonna come up with some nutty stuff.
people are gonna like lock themselves into a cave and then come out with like a full beard and like long hair and like it's been 5,000 years, but I broke insert weird obscure card name here. Like who knows? Like there could be horrible V's and V maxes that we've just considered as dumpster this entire time that could actually be broken now. People have been talking about Rayquaza again all of a sudden. Like it's got the awkward energy cost and the Lost Engine with that. I don't know.
I don't think Ray's coming back because Mirage Gate has to be 2 separate energy, and you can only discard one energy or the other with Ray. If Ray could discard both types of energy, that would be insane.
Yeah.
If not, nope, it's not going anywhere. However, there is a very, very niche card that I don't think anyone has even read from this set that I found that could be decent in Control. Has anyone read the Galarian Stunfisk from this set?
Nope.
I didn't know there even was one.
Yeah, there's one. I came across this pulling cards at work, and what it does for 1 metal energy is discard a stadium from play. If you do, discard 2 energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. And it removes energy, like removes 2 different energy, and removes stadium, which has a lot of potential in Control, I feel. It might just be me just looking at this niche card and being like, hey, this seems like it might have potential, but I could see it being an insane tech in some form of Control deck in the future.
I feel like Pidgeot's gonna find its way. Like Pidgeot V could find its way into a control deck too.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's 100% going to be a loop card.
Yeah.
Xander's going to break some form of Thornton loop stuff where like using a card for support that he doesn't want to put down, then swapping it using Thornton to bring the Pidgeot back, and then shuffling the Pidgeot into the deck. There's for sure going to be some shenanigans with that.
Mm-hmm.
Xander made Sun and Moon badge a thing.
Yeah.
So I think the Pidgeot and the block Snorax from Go are just exactly the kind of cards that he wants to see. Now I'm speaking for him, so I don't really know, but I think I'd be pretty safe to say that those are cards that he's pretty excited to get his hands on.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Those are definitely control cards in a nutshell for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So, any other sleepers that we can think of? We've talked Zoroark. We've talked about Dugong. Okay, yeah,
Dugong.
Go ahead.
Dugong.
Go ahead.
I saw your clip, Vulcan. That was pretty nice.
440 damage with the Dugong.
Yeah, give some context for the pod, for everybody listening.
Give some context?
Yeah, give some context. Talk it out.
What the card is and what the engine is.
Yeah, and what that instance was as well.
Okay, so Dugong is a card from Lost Origins with the Swim Freely attack. And that is important because Finneon allows you to accelerate as many energy from your hand to any Pokemon that has Swim Freely on it multiple times. It's just Frostmoth, but for Swim Freely Pokemon. So and with Lady being reprinted and cards like Bucket, I'm sorry?
And as a basic.
Finneon is a basic.
Yeah, Finneon
is a basic. Yeah, Finneon is a basic.
Basic Frostmoth for Swim Freely Pokemon.
Yeah, it's a basic
which makes it so much
Frostmoth.
better.
It's so good, and you can get it with Level Ball. You can get it with. It's just so good.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Finneon on the bench. You got any Pokemon with Swim Freely. You're able to accelerate as many water energies you want. And the situation that I was in, I was up against Shadow Rider. They had a Shadow Rider VMAX. I had 3 prize cards left. They unfortunately felt the wrath of the Dugong because I had Lady, I had Bucket, I had like 6 energy already in hand. We discarded 11 energy. Well, you don't even discard them, you shuffle them back in the deck. And what Dugong does, I should go over that. Dugong has an attack called Flow Return. It's really sick. It does 40 times the amount of energy that you take from all of your Pokemon. You can choose how many you want. It doesn't just have to be the Dugong. It can be any Pokemon. Any amount of water energy that you take off your Pokemon, you shuffle them back into the deck, that's 40 times. So we did 11. That was 440 damage to a VMAX. Just an instant comeback machine right there.
Insane.
Dugong is I really want to play Dugong. I want to break. I want to see if it can be
Your
good.
energy Malamar.
Yeah, it's like I feel like Dugong could actually be maybe tier
Yeah.
4.
Okay.
Hey, I think it has a chance to be like a tier 2 rogue.
Mm-hmm.
Because the fact that it shuffles and doesn't discard is very good.
Yes.
Like, I think that is the thing that makes it actually potentially viable.
What I was
That
doing
being said, I
was,
think it loses to some of these like spread decks, like
yeah.
the Lost Zone engine that plays Sableye or Urshi in general. But
Mhm.
other than that, I think it is a very, very good card.
One of the best things about it too is with it
Deck.
going back into the deck. The version I play plays Lucky Egg. So if you
Yeah.
have nothing but water energy in your deck and a low hand amount because you're accelerating them, you're always drawing 7 water energy to just accelerate very easily.
Okay.
Have you considered Radiant Venusaur as well?
I have not. I'm playing around with it because right now I'm playing Greninja for the extra draw.
Yeah, I get that because you draw an extra 2 cards on your turn, but I also do like the idea of Radiant Venusaur to always have a 4-card hand after your turn ends, just in case your opponent goes like Tool Scrapper or Lost Vacuum away your Lucky Egg and then take the KO kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah, I could totally give it a shot. I just want to test it so bad.
Oh yeah, there's for sure a lot of different ways that you could go about it.
you brought up Tool Scrapper or Lost Vacuum. I think depending on the deck you're trying to play, you may need to include those in your deck because of Big Parasol. I lost the game
Yeah.
because I did not realize that Big Parasol protects all Pokemon when it's in the active.
Yeah.
And I thought I could just use Sableye's Lost Mind attack to put a bunch of damage counters onto a damaged bench Pokemon, and it did nothing because of Big Parasol. So
Big Parasol is such a good tech this format.
So if you're playing something that uses Sableye, that uses Star Requiem, that anything like that, make sure you have a way to deal with Big Parasol, whether that's Escape Rope or Boss or Tool Scrapper or Lost Vacuum. For me, deck that utilizes the Lost Zone engine, Lost Vacuum is pretty good because I can get an extra card in the Lost Zone, no problem. And then
extra
it can
2
even
cards if you target your own thing.
That's exactly where I was going next. If I want to get rid of my own stadium, like I don't want my opponent to use the training court anymore, I can Lost Vacuum it. I got 2 cards into the Lost Zone basically for free. And then I could also get rid of those pesky Big Parasols, Air Balloons, Big Charms, what have you.
Yeah,
So,
really good to have cards that have like multiple utility points too. So
Yeah. Do you know how often I've started Cram, Colrist into Lost Vacuum, attached an air balloon, and Lost Vacuumed away a card in my hand and the air balloon to just swing with Cram without even needing to Comfy?
It's solid. It's solid.
Wild.
It is solid.
Yeah, my counters to Big Parasol in that deck are 1 Lost Vacuum and double Rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rope I didn't like I said, I didn't know that Big Parasol, I thought it protected the active, not everything. So had I known that, I could have very easily roped and it would have been fine.
For sure.
But you know, you make these mistakes, you live and learn.
Oh yeah,
and
especially with a card that you don't see very often. It's very common to have something pop up that you're just like, hey, I didn't know this card did this.
Yeah.
Get your gold parasols now while they're like $2 or $3, $4 probably.
No, they're $2.
Yeah.
And then it'll catch on and it'll blow up in price. Any
Everyone
other
was playing it for
Goodra
everyone
should
played
be
it.
playing one.
Mew played Big Parasol for a little while.
For like a week.
Arceus Beedrill. Yeah, for like that one event.
It was 1 week before Astral Radiance dropped. It was like one event.
Yeah. And we could thank Isaiah Bradner for doing well with Arceus Beedrill, where everyone started playing. It's like, come on, man. Like, why you got to do well with the deck I'm trying to play? Now everybody's teching for it. Like the big matchup that I'm trying to beat, everybody's knows what to do. It's like, come on, like help a guy out. I need all the help I can get. I don't need everyone teching for me.
All right. Any other Lost Origin cards you guys want to cover before we move on to the stonks? And you can technically cover Lost Origin in stonks if you really want to.
I'm gonna save
talked
it.
about like Drapion.
Yeah, we'll move on to stonks. Yeah.
Drapion's cool.
Yeah.
Oh
Good
yeah.
card.
I guess
prize
the one
it.
thing The one thing I can mention is Drapion V-Star is low-key good. It's good for fixing math and also paralyzing on an ability, which is great. So in Urshi, you can just go Roxanne, Paralyze Gale Thrust, which is great. Reminds me a lot of Reset Stamp Tandem Shock from Pikarom. But past that, let's move on.
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know what this is, Stonks is a segment where we talk about the prospective value of cards, either when it comes to like monetary value or playability value. I usually cover the monetary value, but you guys can go however you would like. Hulk and Turtle, we'll start with you. What do you want to cover here for Stonks?
Any card from Lost Origin?
It could be any card in general. It could be, you know, a card from Rebel Clash you think is going to blow up in value or playability because of Lost Origin or Baltimore Regionals, whatever.
I mean, one card that I think that it's hard to say for cards that you know, blow up and start going up a little bit in price, because we see the price of Pikachu VMAX right now, right? Flying Pikachu VMAX.
Mm-hmm. It's not very expensive.
Hasn't gone up.
No, and that's mostly because of how much Celebrations was just bulked and dumpstered and printed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I also don't think Big Parasol is really going to go up either, despite it maybe seeing a little bit more play. It's not going to see play in anything other than tank decks.
Can I throw a card out there?
Yeah, go for it.
Sure.
No one's going to agree with me, and that's half the fun of this. Machamp VMAX.
Oh.
Elaborate.
Gengar lets you just get a damaged Pokemon onto your field, and with a Rangaroo Gutsy Pickaxe, or if you want to do the Lawson Engine, you could, but you just turn 2, you're hitting 220 so easily, and to be able to Quick Ball or Ultra Ball away Gengars and just constantly get them back, you can use Bog if you want, you don't need it anymore. You're just this 330 health Pokemon it's big, beefy, and you're hitting very good numbers early. Throw some Echoing Horns in there to get those Vs back after you KO them. You know, you have a good typing and weakness against things like Zoroark and Arceus and things like that, things that will probably see play. You know, you obviously have to deal with Mew, but Drapion exists for that. Thornton exists for that.
I was just about to say, I think this has a chance to have some resurgence with Gengar and Drapion.
Yeah.
I honestly think it's a lot of fun. I still think it's like a rogue, so I don't think it's gonna like. I don't think it's gonna like massively shoot up in value. And the Alt Art V is already up in value, but I think it's actually like playable now.
So that you get playable Stonks. Same thing. You're good.
Yeah. I want
sure.
playable. I don't care about the price of cards really. I like to play them. But I think Machamp is like maybe not a joke. I think it's like you can pair it with Mysterious Tail Mew as well. Kind of go like that turbo route instead of going Lost Zone route. I think there's something there. Whatever that list looks like. I covered it not too long ago. Someone actually in one of my videos commented on it being like Machamp, and I was like, oh yeah, that's
bring it back.
Let's
bring it back.
So that's mine.
Yeah, well, you know what else hits for 220 on turn 2? Victini. No, I'm kidding. that's a callback to the webcam war that I joined on Nick's channel, and he played Machamp, and I 3-0'd him with Victini.
I played Machamp back when Astral Radiance was like first shown, and like I was proxying the Machamps, and like, you know, you didn't really know how to build that deck yet. You think you have an idea. It's like, oh, this sounds like it could work. And then Steven played Victini Hammers and like Fan, and just crushed me, and it was honestly embarrassing. But it's how it goes. But now maybe I don't need as much to set up. You know, I don't have to find Bog. I can search for Gengar very easily, and there you go.
Yeah, and you could also run Bibarrel Engine with Grant and go 220, Belt 250, Grant 280, which is also very nice.
Yeah.
And you have the Bibarrels for just consistent draw, which I also like, and you just put Gengar onto the field, so plus it's just 2 energy.
For funsies, throw a Radiant Hawlucha in there, and now you're hitting.
I was gonna say that too. Like, you can literally just ramp up to that number.
Well, 310 only matters for Mew, but Mew's resistant, so it doesn't matter there.
Yeah.
Well, I was about to say Flying Pika, but that also resists.
It
doesn't it?
it resists as well.
Yeah.
Why does everything psychic have a resistance to fighting, but fighting doesn't have a resistance to something like
Dark.
dark? Like
Yeah.
why does psychic get resistance, but like metal gets resistance to grass, but like nothing else has resistance? Some flying or colors have fighting to resistance fighting as well. I don't get
Yeah.
it. I don't understand. It's not fair.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
agree there.
Yeah, I mean, same
Try.
debate with like retreat costs. Like, look at Regieleki, fastest Pokemon in the game, has a 2 retreat cost.
It has a
Yeah.
3
Oh,
retreat
3, yeah,
cost
well,
on one of
yeah.
them.
On one of them, yeah.
It has 2 on one of them and 3 on another. I don't understand that. That thing should have free retreat.
Yeah, no, I agree. It does not make
Regis would
sense.
be a
Someone
much
explain
more
it.
busted
Lit-
deck if
literally-
he had 0.
Yeah. Me and my roommate consistently, like, as a meme, bring up the weights and speeds of random Pokemon that their retreat cost doesn't make any sense, because it seems like they're just randomly putting retreat cost on certain mons. Like
They roll a dice.
Ability thing.
They roll a 4-sided
Yeah.
die, and it's like, oh, it's got a retreat of
I've got
4.
to retreat
Yeah.
of 3 now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
no.
sure they have a reason for it, but the resistance thing, it seems unfair that some types have it and others don't.
Mhm.
And just like,
Yeah.
all right, I understand Dragon doesn't have a weakness or resistance, but it also doesn't hit anything for weakness. So like that's fair to me. But like Psychic always having fighting resistance and
Here's
nothing
what
just doesn't sit well
Yeah.
with me.
Here's what I want in the future, although I doubt it's going to happen. I want HP to be scaled back a bit, weakness to be plus 30, resistance to be minus 30. Keep dragons not having a weakness or resistance, but it's less relevant because HP is scaled back a bit, and resistance and weakness are both plus and minus 30. I think that would make this game super, super ideal. I don't like times 2. Times 2, in my opinion, is far too much to be relevant in a game.
Yeah, but I like to play fighting types and I like to one-shot stuff.
I mean, like, the point of fighting types is to hit for massive damage regardless anyway.
I know, and with all these psychic types resisting it, I can't do it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if the only things are pluses and minuses
Yeah.
instead of, like, multiplications, I think... like, the main change that I'd like to make is less HP and no times 2 weakness. Keep resistance as it is.
Yeah, it's always hard to say, because I mean, they're going to just change everything with Scarlet Violet, and who knows what their ultimate plans are with like the direction of the game. They talk about they want comeback mechanics. We haven't seen anything yet for that, so who knows what their thought
Roxanne has
process
been, like, the
is.
only comeback card so far.
Yeah,
Roxanne's a lie. I don't care. It's a
Yeah,
lie.
I like Roxanne with Drapion now, because I've always thought Roxanne is a lie since it came out. However, with Drapion specifically, I like Roxanne, because you can paralyze them. It requires them to not only have the piece they need for game, but also have some form of out to be able to get out of the active to remove the paralysis. Which
And
can
then back
be,
in the active.
Yeah, then back into the active, and also be able to swing for whatever damage they want.
Yeah.
Paralysis is so relevant, and I think Roxanne plus that paralysis is going to be what makes Urshi a tier 1 deck again.
Until you Roxanne them into a switch. Because Roxanne's a lie.
or they have Bibarel down and they draw 5 cards no matter what.
Oh yeah, that's the counter, but they still need to find a switching effect.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, listen, to paralyze your opponent's active is pretty nasty following Roxanne. So yeah, I could definitely see that being the case. But for the most part, Roxanne doesn't. I've literally been Roxanne and still top deck boss for game at NAIC, and like that happened. My opponent was going to win the game, and they Roxanne me down to 2. Which one of them was Energy Research, by the way. That was my Roxanne cards. And then the last one, my actual top deck for turn, was just Boss.
Yeah.
So it
I
didn't
was
matter.
like-
It didn't matter.
I showed him the boss, and I felt so bad because like they should have won that game, and they just didn't because Roxanne failed them.
It for sure be that way. It's
Yeah, I
it's the
know.
way it be.
I
All
know.
right. For my stonks, I've got Empoleon V. I
Yes.
think Empoleon's gonna get a lot more play. I don't know about
Oh, yeah,
value.
for
I mean,
sure.
alt art maybe if the blingers out there want to spec on the
Oh.
alt art, but look at all these single prize ability Pokemon,
it's
especially now with the
so good
Lost
right
Engine.
now.
You start Empoleon and no other Pokemon, then like what do? They start Comfey and they sit there. In one of the games I streamed
Yeah,
last
it's
night,
wild.
they started Empoleon, but they also decided to bench additional Pokemon. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll just play Escape Rope. But in a situation where they don't bench anything else and it's just Empoleon sitting there, your deck's in shambles.
I've seen people playing double Empoleon for the rope counter. Like legitimately, which is wild to me, but it's so funny. I like when Empoleon first came out, everyone's like, this is such a bad card. It's only in the active. It barely affects anything in the game. But it's now such a relevant card. It's so good.
Yeah, we finally have a basic Pokemon with really good abilities, and I mean, like, it turns off Reggie's. Sorry, Vulcan.
No, it's fine. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, you can technically get there with Regieleki and one hit KO it if you know.
Yeah.
So it's not a complete blowout there, but to deal with two Empoleon in a single game, man, I feel like even like Palkia and Teleon is going to start putting it in instead of it just like being like a one of in like the Calyrex versions.
That's why I play.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love Path in Reggie. Path in Reggie is too good.
But I can see where you're coming from with the Empoleon. I mean, it shuts down the Comfey. It shuts down it shuts down Reggie. It shuts down
Rock Lunatone.
Finneon if you're up against Rock Lunatone.
Yeah.
Shuts down Finneon for my Dugong deck. It also shuts down the idea of creating new decks as well. Like I've seen the new Clefairy from Lost Origin being paired with Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider's not going to be playing any sort of Path of the Peaks because why would they shut down their own ability, It gives you the ability to like jump a little bit more ahead, and I agree with you that Empoleon may definitely be seeing a lot more play.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy it.
I think also on top of that, I think the Clefairies are good with the Mewtwo. I don't think the Shadow Rider is necessarily coming back right now. I think the Mewtwo might have more chance. However, I also think that another card that has basically seen no play up until this point, Amazing Rare Yveltal, will be insane in Reggie's because it just changes some of your auto-lose matchups to auto-win matchups by just having Thornton in your deck.
Yeah, Thornton right into it, just knock out your opponent's
Knock out
active Pokemon, and then
you can knock out Pika VMAX, you can knock out Ice Rider, you can knock out any of these things that you struggle to hit before that. Like the Pikas, I know there was another matchup that you were struggling with, and I'm trying to remember what that was.
Duraludon, if you're not
Duraludon. True. Yeah. I think Triple Path is really good in Reggie's right now. I think that's correct. On top of this, for Stonks, I also think that the Alt Art Aerodactyl is so iconic. It's just it's all of the dinosaurs. It's like the land before time, but Pokemon.
You mean this card?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I got lucky and I hit one of those.
Yeah, it's amazing. Not to mention the dimension, like the alternate dimension Giratina V, which is so sick as well. Like one of the prettiest arts I've seen in a very long time. I love that so much. Those are going to definitely stay up there in price.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Something I want to touch on too when it comes to like stonks of the Pokemon TCG, and not necessarily just single cards either. I just want to say how amazing of a job Pokemon's been doing by making the game as accessible as possible.
Yes.
Not through just like bling, like there's a full art boss's orders in Lost Origin. You can get that as a double hitter and stuff like that. Like bling is great. It's becoming a little bit more accessible. I don't care about that. Being able to print decks like Mew, that'll be coming out soon as a League Battle deck, printing out a box for Arceus and Dialga, and most importantly Palkia, and making the game as accessible as possible
Yeah.
in recent times has just been an absolute game changer for a lot of people.
For sure. I legitimately, to any new player that wants to get into playing the game, have always recommended them the Ice Rider or Shadow Rider decks. Mainly the Ice Rider if we happen to have it in stock, but those are just such good, already constructed products. I'm like, hey, if you want to buy a deck that is very good out the gate and just be able to play it immediately, I would recommend just getting this in a box of sleeves and you're good to go.
Yeah, you don't need anything else.
When those products are printed too, I mean, it's not only just new players that are going to be buying them, being able to just jump into the game. It's going to help a lot of players that may have not been able to get to that point. Like the new Arceus V-Star box that's coming out, the collector's chest or whatever it's called, it's reprints 1-for-1 from Brilliant Stars. The price of Arceus is about to go down, and that's accessible to everybody at that point.
Yeah.
Same with Palkia. I don't know why you want to play Dialga, but sure, go for it.
I think Dialga going into this format's actually really good, especially if Gudra remains relevant. Being able to, 220, take an extra turn.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't care how much damage you absorb. I'm hitting you again for a big metal blast afterwards. I think that's definitely a good thing to think think
Yeah,
also Kira
now it's more accessible.
Yeah, you hit Kira
and Ice
Rider for weakness.
Yeah.
So
yeah, true.
Very, very relevant. I think Dialga is definitely something to consider again going forward as well.
And it's now accessible. So
even Zoroark is getting a box. Like
yes,
they're already doing a Suian Zoroark box. It's been announced.
And Giratina V is going to be a tin promo.
Yeah.
Rip in chat to Gazer.
That's fine. It's his own fault.
Yeah.
All right, we've rambled. Let's get into Q&A, and then I have an announcement, and then I'll give you guys the floor to plug all of your socials. So, ask the pod. We have a couple questions, and actually, two of them are for Clam Burglar, and the rest are from Gazer, just spamming the chat. He's asked questions that we've already kind of answered. So this one's from Gazer, since he's here in spirit. Best V-Star from the newest set, worst V-Star from the newest set. Well, moving along super fast.
Worst V-Star, Aerodactyl V-Star. Hands down.
Yeah, I would agree.
100%, yeah.
Best V-Star, Gudra.
I don't think people will agree. I do think Gudra is the best, even though Giratina is what everybody's going crazy for.
I think in a vacuum, Zoroark is the best printed one with its ability.
Sure, but it's not a vacuum, so
no.
Yeah.
This is my podcast, damn it.
Time is relevant.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think I think Giratina is probably the best one in the set generally. And Zoroark clearly has the best ability, but isn't the best in the format at the moment. The Gudra's up there, but I wouldn't put it at number one. I think I'd put Giratina.
But we all definitely agree that Aerodactyl is the worst.
Oh,
yeah.
Or is it Drapion?
Are we also... No, it's not Drapion. Drapion is very good.
I only said that because you were talking about it earlier.
Oh, yeah. The only other one I was thinking about was Magnezone V-Star, competing with that.
I'm not crazy about Magnezone.
I think Magnezone will be better with Magnezone EX in the future.
Yeah, I mean, Magnezone
Magnezone V-Star and EX don't evolve from the same Pokemon.
Yeah, so you can play Magnezone V-Star, Magnezone EX, the whole line. They might supplement each other well.
It doesn't feel like you'd run them together because they evolve from different things. It's not like you're just running an alternate evolution of things. I think it's decent because it has essentially Greninja's attack as a V-Star attack, sniping 90 to 2 targets, and 180 search for 2 item cards. The problem is I have no clue how to build it. I have no clue. Yeah, like its attack cost doesn't even seem that awkward. It just seems like I don't know what I'd run this with. Oh, that also reminds me, extremely underrated card in the set, Electrode V.
That also gets a box.
Yes, it does.
So that'll be very cheap to get those after time 2. Not to,
Yep.
not to say that's going to be expensive by any means, but could definitely be a nice
But yeah,
budget
I
option.
think I'll agree with the arrow in this set.
Okay.
I don't think it's fantastic. It's like it's okay. We might see some things happen with it because it is like a permanent path. If you're playing like a control deck, I could see like arrow control being a thing. But I think it's probably the worst V-Star in this set.
All right. Next question. This one's from Clam. We kind of talked about it a little bit ago. Are Gust of Wind listeners called windbags?
No.
That could
Yeah.
be your own headcanon.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's your listen. It's stupid. It's your podcast.
I don't want to. Like I said, I don't want to say yes. I don't want to say no. I want them to decide what they are, not me. You can be.
Just open a poll on
You can be
Twitter.
winders.
All you windbags.
Attention, all windbags! You're now listening to the Gust of Wind.
All windbags in chat.
Oh
You're
my
now
God.
listening to
Yeah.
the Gust of Wind podcast.
Yeah, I don't know about that. All right,
like
this question's from Gazer. Will Gazer win the Winner box currently? He's currently out right now, and the answer is no, because he's already said that he threw with a Marnie.
You know, Gazer, I believe in you. I believe you can sneak your way into top 8 by just bribing someone to trade spots with you, and then win from there, and then give them the box.
Yeah.
No, the answer is absolutely not.
All right, last question, again from Stinky Old Gazer. Will Giratina flop? And I think we already can all say no. We've already talked about this the entire pod.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to flop. Do I think it'll be the best deck in the format? Is it going to break everything? You know, is every game going to be Giratina mirrors at regionals? No, and of course not. But it's good. It's good.
The people comparing it to Rayquaza VMAX are not seeing at all what the difference between the two are.
Yeah, like Ray didn't have a true engine to support it. Like you didn't, you have to sit there and use Flaffy and pivot, and even then like inconsistencies.
And also it had just like the awkward cost of things and the fact that you need to set up stage 1s in order to support it to accelerate, or play awkward cards like Rose in order to get energy onto field, and the fact that you can't discard both types of energy.
Like I feel like Giratina got like
just swings 280.
Yeah, Giratina got the Mew treatment where it's got like the full package that came with it that supports it, but at the same time that package can also be used elsewhere.
Yeah, it also doesn't need that package.
Yeah, you could play it with Arceus.
Just be Arceus.
Yeah. So there's the card itself is just good. So it's not gonna flop. It's definitely a win on that one for sure.
Yeah.
All right, no more Q&A. Before we get to the point where you guys can plug all of your content and everything else going on about all of you. I haven't told the podcast yet, but the single prize showdown's back. Woo! First one is Thursday, the 22nd, the Thursday after Baltimore. So it's over on Limitless. I'm deciding the ban list now. I think I have it down to 4 cards being banned. So for those that don't know, Single Prize Showdown is a Swiss round only tournament, like a League Cup style, without a top cut. And we play single prize Pokemon only, no rule boxes, but it's not like GLC where it's singleton and monotype. But I ban cards. We've banned things in the past like Weezing and Infiltrator Dragapult, and we ended up banning Rapid Strike Urshifu because LDF played it and everybody else played it afterwards. So we ban cards to continuously shake up the format. Out of the gate, I will say now that Radiant Greninja is banned, Regigigas is banned, and Solrock is banned so far. And that way, no one is just grabbing the decks that they've already been playing in Standard and bringing it to the tournament. I won't go crazy banning the Lost Engine stuff just yet since it's brand new. It's a new set. We want everybody to have fun and play with the new cards. But
everyone just play Quad Cram. Go! Go!
I mean, people are treating Cram like the new Zapdos Jirachi.
It kind of is.
Yeah. So we'll see how that breaks down. You know, if your opponent can set stuff up, then good for them. I was going to consider banning Dracovish again, which we've banned before, because it kind of like locked a lot of things out of the game. But now with Cramorant in the mix on the Lost Engine, I really don't see a need to ban Dracovish, because you can just cram poke it twice and call it a day. So keep an eye out for the full ban list, but I think it's most likely just going to be those three, and maybe Weezing sneaking into the fourth, because abilities are just so important, and Weezing has caused problems before. We had an unhinged one where we had no ban list after a while, and it was like Weezing mirrors all day long, and it was very aggravating. So I don't know if I want to go down that road ever again with Weezing free. But yeah, Single Price Showdown, play.limitless.com. Link will be in the pod description. Thursday the 22nd, I'll have Lost Origin packs as prizes for that. So
well, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna play Dugong since you banned my Reggies.
That's right. There you go.
I unfortunately work that day, but I will tune in after I get back from work.
Yeah, right on. I'm gonna try and at least do 1 or 2 of them a month, and we'll go from there. Is it sponsored by Gust? Sure, if Gazer gives me money. But yeah,
he can't because he lost the Winnabox.
Yeah, he lost the Winnabox, so he's been voted off the pod. You've been voted off the island. Yeah. Next week, my guest is going to be me, myself, and Irene, and whoever else I can find. I don't know. I'm kidding. Gazer will be back next week, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, all right. So now the floor is all of yours. Feel free to plug each and every one of your individual channels, your socials, your Twitches, your YouTube, your Twitters, your Instagrams, your OnlyFans, your TikToks, and of course the Trainers Guild. So have at it. Take it away, guys. Not everybody all at once.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think anyone wants to seem like, super rush to do it. Like that's the only reason.
All right, well then you're first, because you were the last one technically in. You were the challenger approached in the middle of the stream. So
sure. I mean, everything I do is at 9card TCG. I make mostly YouTube videos, but in the past week I've been streaming a few days a week, also 9card TCG on Twitch. So near daily content, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch, except for tomorrow. I don't have anything for Mondays because it's my day off. But yeah, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. Maybe if you guys ask nicely, I'll do an OnlyFans. But for now, it's just the Pokemon content.
Okay. Well, I tried. Sorry, Gazer. All right, On Guard, take it away.
All right. Well, I am On Guard. If you haven't seen any of my content, I stream generally Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 7. I'm more a streamer than I am a YouTuber. However, I do post YouTube content on my YouTube. Both of them are just On Guard. My Twitter is OnGuardVT, because I do tend to stream with a virtual model. So yes, I am a VTuber, but I am also a human. Anyway.
Debatable.
What?
Yeah. I don't know. Am I a human? Who knows? The world may never know. Regardless. Also, follow Trainers Guild on Twitter, because that is our Twitter account where we will be posting our content there soon. We'll be posting like the links to whatever videos we post in the coming weeks, as well as just talking about accomplishments, talking about what tournaments we play in, how well we do in those, and so on and so forth. Just content for the team. Anyway, I'll send it on over to Vulcan.
Well, yeah, you guys can follow me everywhere that I am. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and yeah, maybe the OnlyFans. I mean, it is at Jumping Raccoons. It's just raccoons doing jumping jacks. But you guys can follow me over on Twitch and Twitter at Vulcan Turtle TCG. I'm live on Twitch every Monday and Tuesday and Friday at around 6 p.m. on Mondays and Tuesdays, and starting around 10:30 p.m. Eastern time on Fridays.
Yeah, follow him anywhere except for his own home. Anyway.
Yeah, this is not an invitation to go breaking into anyone's homes. The Gust of Wind podcast does not endorse breaking and entering, even though that's Gazer's off-time hobby. Anyway, I'm Steuben without Gazer Beam 2K. This has been a weird episode, but of course, These guys are awesome. So please go follow them and support them. And of course, support the Trainers Guild. And like, I'm a secret member. Don't tell anybody. Well, I guess, jokes out of the bag, I guess. But you know, we've been all playing together, and it's been a lot of fun. And it'll be a lot of fun times to have us all together at Baltimore this coming weekend. So if you're there, come say hi to any of us. Come find us. Come harass us. Just don't punch me in the absence of Gazer since he's on the West Coast. I don't want to be a punching bag for him. But yeah, that's it for the Gust of Wind podcast, season 2, episode 2. Catch you guys in the next one. Hopefully Gazer's here. If not, whatever. But yeah, much love. Peace out. Take it easy.